everyone. Welcome to Your Virtual Coffee, the web show which introduces you to great local businesses in the Denver metro area. You guys are in for a treat today. My guest is Brad Reubendale, Executive Director for SAME Café. Brad leads a team of 10 staff and service members, 15 board members, and hundreds of volunteers to achieve SAME Café's mission to serve healthy food to everyone, regardless of ability to pay. He increased numbers of people served over 100%, launched new programs, including the SAME Café food truck and the Cook to Work program, a job readiness training program to help people experiencing homelessness find jobs in the culinary field. And in his spare time, he comes on my show. Brad, welcome to my show.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. It's so good to see you again. One of my favorite people, Gina.
Now, you have had several life changes recently. Would you share about them?
I have. Yes, I just got married about a month ago.
Congratulations.
And, yeah, thank you. And then my husband and I bought a house like the same week. So, and I was joking with my board the other day. I was like, and we're going to adopt a kid next week. And they just kind of rolled with the punches. And I was like, I'm joking. Like, we're not going to do that. That's silly. And I realized that I've socialized everyone in my life to just accept me being intense and kind of crazy. So
and just barreling through.
Just do all of it at once. That's my goal.
Now, you and I met through the Denver Metro Chamber's program, Impact Denver, but we have also met in other places, such as you came to SAME Café from Urban Peak, right?
Yes, correct.
So how long, which is another nonprofit in town, how long have you worked with nonprofits?
Well, so I've been in nonprofit world for my entire career. But for the beginning part of my career, it was all in religious nonprofits, including I was a pastor for several years. And then I got excommunicated and fired when I came out as gay and lost everything and was actually homeless myself for a little while. About 9 months, I was couch surfing and came to SAME Café as a guest because I had lost access to healthy food during that period of my life. And that all happened about 9 years ago. And then from there forward, I switched to doing sort of community-based nonprofits. And that's when I started working at Urban Peak. I also worked briefly with CASA, Court Appointed Special Advocates, and then back to Urban Peak, which is a youth homeless shelter. And I did fundraising for them. I've had like 3 jobs at Urban Peak with the goal of, I wanted to be an executive director. That was it. And when I got the opportunity to run this place, I got very excited because I said, that has had a personal impact on my life. But then I also just believe in healthy food. And I have a pre-diabetic condition and my diabetes runs in my family. And so access to healthy food is a vital need for me with my body. And so I get to provide that to everyone, regardless of ability to pay. And during my weird time of being homeless, I also recognized how hard it is to get healthy food. You can get food, actually. It's just not healthy food. And my pre-diabetic condition is hypoglycemia, so it's low blood sugar. And it means that I have to eat every 2 to 3 hours. And if I'm not eating regularly, then my sugar level drops and it can be dangerous. And so you can get cheap, gross food at intervals of every 2 to 3 hours. But it meant that I gained a bunch of weight and I needed to be able to stabilize my life and then get back into eating healthy food again. So anyway, I have a personal connection to this mission, both from the food perspective and from the life challenges perspective, because food is the first thing that people stop paying for when they run out of money. And so food insecurity actually affects more people than just those experiencing homelessness, although that's of course a big piece of it. You can be food insecure for a day if you're between jobs. You can be food insecure for a week or 6 months while you're looking for a job. And you would never look homeless, so to speak.
And I appreciate what you just said as far as looking homeless, because the reality is it could be anyone. It could be anyone at any time, and you mentioned about the fact that there's unhealthy food out there. I think part of the WIC program falls into that, because some of the things that you can get on WIC, with the exception, I mean, you can get some things like milk and things like that, but some of the other things are maybe not the healthiest for you. And
Well,
so,
and then the other thing is corner store food is cheap, right? So you can go to a corner store and get a hot dog or a pizza for a couple of bucks. You can get fast food places have the dollar menus, and those are extremely unhealthy, but it's accessible, right? So you can afford it. So getting something that is high quality and also within your price range is a big deal. And I can explain kind of how we work here at SAME if you want.
I want to go into that, but first I just wanted to say that all the food you just described, in my humble opinion, is what I classify as beige food. And it's the food that SAME Cafe presents every day to their customers is very colorful, the
It's
opposite of beige.
beautiful.
And
Mhm.
so with that, could you elaborate on this colorful menu that you guys put out?
Absolutely. Yeah, I call it processed food-like substances. It's not actually food. That's my phrase for it. So we work with food, and that's the simple way to say it. We work with beautiful ingredients that are grown specifically for us and donated, and every meal is mostly vegetable centered. So we also have cheeses and we have meats and stuff that are in there, but it's centered around the beautiful vegetables that we get. And so you can actually look at our menu. Our menu changes every single day based on what's in season and in stock. And they come in, you can see them preparing the meal in there. Our cooks and chefs come in every morning and iron chef the meal, basically, like using the ingredients in front of them, they create a beautiful menu. And you can actually tell what season it is by just looking at our menu, because right now it's all winter squash. In the summer, you'll start with seeing asparagus all over everything. That's the first crop that we get. And then you'll know when it's basil season, because everything's gonna have basil in it. Tomato season, same thing. So we work with beautiful ingredients that are donated. And then the way it works is when you walk in the door, you are presented with the menu and you choose what you want to have off of that menu, because choice is one of those privileges that comes with money usually. And we want to provide choices at every place possible here for everyone, regardless of what their background is. So you choose what you want, and then you get your plate. And it's always, I insist that every plate has to be Instagrammable. It needs to be beautiful. And so everyone needs to look at it and say, wow, even if they don't pull out their phone and take a picture, they need to say, wow, this is beautiful and colorful, as you said. And then the second choice that people make is, how do you participate for your meal? So SAME operates on donations of time, money, and produce. So you can donate any of those three in exchange for your meal. You can sign up on the spot for a quick volunteer shift after your meal. You can donate what you can, and we don't have any prices, but we do have a transparent budget that just shares how much we pay for the food on the plate, what our average donation is, and if you add in overhead, how much it costs. So to give you a guideline, but there's no minimum and there's no suggested donation, just what you can give. And then the third way is produce. You can donate produce from your backyard garden. You can, we have one gentleman who, I love it because he goes to the local food bank and picks up whatever produce they have and then brings it here and donates it, because he doesn't have a kitchen. And so we make it into meals and then he gets a meal. So you can donate time, money, or produce in exchange for your meal. And, you know, we've been around for 14 years. When we first started, everyone thought we were nuts and that this was going to last for maybe 6 months, but that's been 14 years ago. And we're going strong. And as you mentioned before, in the last 3 years, when myself and the new chef took over, we've doubled the number of meals served. We've launched 2 new programs, and we're in the process of launching a second location.
I love that so much. And by the way, friends who are watching this, if you have not enjoyed a meal at SAME Cafe, stop what you're doing right now and go
Literally
down
right
there.
now.
Literally right now.
Yes.
And go down there, because it will be the best food. And if that weren't the best part about it, you're helping a nonprofit. And at the end, Brad, share what they get that goes with their meal.
The cookie.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
So we have the signature cookie, and it's a lemon, it's a shortbread sugar cookie with lemon icing. And it is the best cookie in the world. It was actually written in my contract, but I can't give that recipe away. It's part of the founder's family recipe, but it's the SAME Cafe signature cookie, and it's delicious. Yeah.
So there you go. If for
And I will
nothing
say,
else, come have the lemon cookie.
have the lemon cookie. And I will also say, stop what you're doing right now, as long as it's between 11 and 2:30, Monday through Saturday, because those are
Yes.
the hours that we're open.
Yeah, if you're watching this at night, just make a note to yourself, put it on your calendar,
Tomorrow.
put on a
Yeah.
reminder on your phone, then go see Brad at SAME Café. Now, speaking
Yes.
of SAME Café, Brad, what is an issue that keeps that person, whether it's a person experiencing food insecurity, that person maybe who doesn't know where they're going to sleep that night, much less what they're going to have for lunch. What keeps them up at night, and how does SAME Café solve that issue?
So I'll start with a quick story. One of our regular guests here told me when I first started, we were having lunch and he said, Brad, you can't plan for your future if you don't know where you're going to eat your next meal. And it was a profound moment for me because it reminded me of my own experiences. I actually stopped when I was homeless. I couldn't dream about my future or plan for my future because I was focused on the things that you need, right? You need a place to sleep, you need a place to eat, and you need a place to make money to stabilize your life. We get to solve one of those problems for people. And so we can provide the place to eat. And hopefully with that, they can free their brain cells up to work on other stabilizing influences in their life, like where they're going to get housing and where they're going to work. And so I think that's the key thing is that we want to solve food insecurity for people if they're able to come here daily and eat. And it wouldn't be comfortable, but you could literally live on just the food that we make, because we offer as much soup and salad as you want. So we give seconds, thirds, fourths, and fifths of our soup and salad. So you can come at 11, get full, and then get full again at the end of the shift at 2:30, and then come back the next day and do it again. And that matters to us because we want to be able to, for a certain group of people, solve food insecurity for them so that they can work on other pieces of their life.
Brad, let's talk about SAME Café's Power Partners. And before we get into that, audience, Power Partners are those businesses who target your same ideal client, but are not your competition. For example, a real estate person and a mortgage broker. They both target that future homeowner, or in Brad's case, new homeowner, but they don't compete with one another. In fact, they wind up working together and passing referrals. So to understand who SAME Café's Power Partners are, Brad, let's talk about who your ideal client is.
Well, so we have a few ideal clients, actually. Of course, anyone who's experiencing food insecurity, and that is a huge group of people. So it can be people experiencing homelessness that don't have a place to sleep and also don't have good access to healthy food. It could also be someone who just lost their job and they're in between jobs and they're trying to figure that out. And so they don't look homeless, as I kind of mentioned before, but that they're food insecure. And so everyone on that entire spectrum, also the working poor, people who actually have jobs but can't afford to get the beautiful meals that we have here at a restaurant, certainly, and don't have the time because they're working 3 jobs to make it at home. And so that's another ideal client that's in the food insecure category. We also have teachers and students and people that are artists that are like, they don't make enough money to be able to get access to this kind of food. And so those are others that are food insecure. And then in addition to that, foodies are our other target client, actually. So if you appreciate good food and you have any kind of like food restrictions, so if you're on the keto diet, we can probably work with you and get something that you can eat there. If you are gluten-free or gluten intolerant, we have gluten-free options. If you can't process dairy, we have dairy-free options and vegan options for everything on our menu. And so it's important for us to make sure that we are accommodating every food insecurity or food allergy that someone might have. Not because, so it allows us to access people that have means that also love the food, but it also gives us a chance to serve those that are experiencing those issues that are living outside or having food insecurity too. So I'd say foodies and anyone with food insecurity, those are our target clients because the food is so good. The best food I've ever had.
And I would agree with that. And I do keto, and I can attest to what Brad just said because I've had no problems getting them accommodating my dietary needs. So don't let that keep you from coming. I think you also have another ideal client per se, and that would be that donor, whether it's a foundation, whether it's a business that wants to communicate and participate more in the community. Um,
So yeah, we are a traditional nonprofit. We get about 20% of our revenue here in exchange for meals through revenue in that way. And the rest of it is through kind of traditional fundraising efforts. So we love working with partners that are interested in kind of doing good in the community. So if you have an idea for a creative way that your business can partner with us, we'd love to talk through that. We have some folks that we have a Leprino cheese, for instance, gives us all of our cheese that we use in the entire place. Pablo's Coffee gives us all the coffee that we have. Titulia gives us all the tea. So those kind of creative things. And then they get to, we tag them and we co-tag them in social media and stuff. And so definitely businesses or donors or people that want to do events as well. I know events can sometimes be a challenge in weird times, but if you want to do events, we also will use the evening times here to do different events. So a lot of businesses that do holiday parties will say, we have a $5,000 budget for our annual holiday party. Will you spend 300 of that budget making food for us and the rest is yours to keep? And so then it also introduces all their employees to this great mission as well. So we had a wedding here recently, actually, in the space. And so birthday parties, like we've actually had that too, where someone's like, I'm turning 50, but I don't need anything. So I want to have it at SAME Café so I can introduce all my friends to the mission. So there's a lot of great ways that we can partner. And then we have a food truck. So our food truck can go out and do events if you want to have delicious food at your event. And then it also shares about the mission of SAME Café while we're there.
I love all of that so much. Now I'm thinking who else targets this ideal client? And again, I'm going to focus on the first two that you mentioned as far as food insecurity, and then also those foodies, because those foodies, you know, will probably want to look at the mission of SAME Cafe and say, hey, where else can I plug in?
Yes.
So I'm thinking homeless shelters who serve those people. I'm thinking other nonprofits who serve the community. There's, I mean, with homeless shelters, you have Denver Rescue Mission, you have Urban Peak, as you mentioned earlier, for youth. You also have people who serve, I'd say the Tennyson Center for Children also, because those are children, especially if they're staying there on campus, you know, there's a lot of needs there.
Yes.
And so,
Warren Village is just down the road here, and that's a housing program for single parents. And so most of those, mostly women, are working and they have jobs and their kids are in school, but we love partnering with them. There's also a day shelter down the road for women and trans folks that are experiencing homelessness. So we partner with them as much as possible. What's interesting is we have no direct competition. Nobody else is like, we're not competing for anybody. Because a meal lasts for 5 hours, you know, and so you always need another meal the next day or the next 5 hours. And so we get to partner very well. And what we do is, even with some of those food-based nonprofits that are just providing ingredients, for instance, to people that can't afford them, what we do is make healthy food taste really good. And so we're actually increasing the demand for what they do, even though we're doing a really similar thing. So there's really no one that we can't find some way to partner with if someone's willing to work with us. We work really well alongside other nonprofits that are doing similar work.
Definitely. I'm thinking we had Ira Coleman from Button and Zipper on a while back, and they focus on warm coats, blankets, and stuff for people who either need warmth in one way or another. I guess that you would put SAME Cafe in that same bucket, because you guys provide warmth through having a full tummy, which, you know,
and a community. That's the other cool thing, is it's a community.
Definitely.
So it's like a metaphysical hug, right? Inside and out.
I like that metaphysical hug. Okay, so business owners out there who want to get involved in one way, shape, or form, how do they reach out to you, Brad?
You can go through our website, soallmayeat.org, That's what SAME stands for. SAME is SAME, so allmayeat.org. And there's a contact link on there, or you can email me directly, brad@soallmayeat.org. And I'd love to talk through whatever it is that you're interested in joining us with.
And we'll
But if
put,
nothing else, just come have lunch. Come have lunch, if nothing else.
and we'll put slides for this information so people will know the best way to get a hold of you.
Perfect.
Brad, you're amazing. You're one of my best
You're
friends.
amazing.
And I just want to know, any last thoughts?
No, well, thank you for this. And so the last thought that I'll say is SAME Café is the most magical place on earth. Disneyland's got nothing on us. Like, it's really genuinely cool to see where everyone's treated exactly the same, and you'll see people experiencing homelessness right along people with wealth, experiencing the same thing together and just kind of joining a community together. So you have to come check it out. You can't get a feel for it until you actually come have a meal here. So please come have a meal.
And Brad, could you give us the address really quickly and how people access today's menu?
So there's a menu tab on the website. So if you go there, there's the first thing you can click is the menu, and it changes daily. So check it out every day. And we are located at 2023 East Colfax Avenue in Denver. It's really close to East High School, right between Race and Vine. So come check us out. We're kind of hiding back in the trees, so you have to look for us a little bit.
But don't let that keep you away, because the food is amazing. Brad is amazing. Everyone who works there is amazing. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. Brad, thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Thank you, Gina. It was great.
And thank you, audience, for joining us today on Your Virtual Coffee. We could not do this show without you. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Your Virtual Coffee. We love business owners, and that includes nonprofits. So business owners, let's talk. Bye, everyone. Your Virtual Coffee is sponsored by Ventola Law. Ventola Law, mediation and legal representation at an expert level. You can find them at ventolalaw.com. Thanks for joining me today. For more information on Your Virtual Coffee, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wait for it, our website at yourvirtualcoffee.com. Thanks again for watching, and have an incredible day.